My name is Joshua Mugabe. I welcome you to topic 7, inheritance. We are looking at learning outcome A, analyze the structure and function significance of nucleic acid in meiosis and mitosis, their role in cellular function, and how mutation in nucleotide sequence can contribute to diseases like cancer. The learning activity today is part B. In groups, learners search for the properties of genetic code, make a write-up, and present their finding in class. We want first of all to look at the universality of the genetic code and then also explore human genes in bacteria. Our item 1. Scientists insert a human insulin gene into E. coli bacteria. After several days, the bacteria begin producing insulin identical to human insulin. Task: explain why a bacterium can read a human gene. State which property of the genetic code this demonstrates. Explain how this property benefits biotechnology. Explain why a bacterium can read a human gene. Explain why a bacterium can read a human gene. Why bacterium can read a human gene. The same codons, for example, AUG, GGU, and AA, specify the same amino acid in both humans and bacteria. State which property of the genetic code this demonstrates. Property demonstrated is universality of the genetic code. Explain how this property benefits biotechnology. Benefit to biotechnology: it allows genes from one organism to be expressed in another. Enables production of medicine like insulin, growth hormones, and vaccines. Let's now look at triplet nature of the genetic code. We are going to explore the reading frame shift. Item 2. A student inserts an extra nucleotide during a DNA transcription exercise. Original messenger RNA, AUG, GCU, AAU, GGA. Muted messenger RNA, AUG, GCC, UAA, UGGA. Task: explain why adding one base changes all downstream codons. What does this reveal about the genetic code? Predict the effect on the resulting protein. Explain why adding one base changes all downstream codons. Why all downstream codon change? This is because the genetic code is read in fixed triplets. Adding one base shifts the entire reading frame. What does this reveal about the genetic code? Property revealed. The genetic code is a triplet code, that is, read in groups of 3 bases. Predict the effect on the resulting protein. Effect on protein: most amino acid change. Premature stop codon UAA occurs. This results in truncated non-functional protein. Let's now look at the non-overlapping genetic code. We want to explore the codon highlighting. Item 3. A teacher projects an messenger RNA sequence AUGGCCUUA. She highlights the codons as AUG, GCC, UUA, not as AUG, UGG, GGC, CCU, UUA. Task: explain why codons are read separately and do not overlap. Which property of the genetic code does this show? What would happen if codons overlapped? Why codons do not overlap? Each base is used only one codon. Each base is used in only one codon. Ribosomes move along messenger RNA 3 bases at a time. Which property of the genetic code does this show? Property shown: the genetic code is non-overlapping. What would happen if codons overlapped? What would happen if codons overlapped? A single mutation would affect multiple amino acids. Secondly, proteins would be highly unstable and error-prone. Let us now look at degeneracy. or redundancy of the code, we are exploring the silent mutation. Item 4. A gene has a codon GAA, which codes for glutamic acid. A point mutation changes it to GAG, but the protein stays the same. Task: explain why the amino acid did not change. Name the property of the genetic code shown here. State the advantage of this genetic code property. Explain why the amino acid did not change. Why the amino acid did not change? Both GAA and GAG code for the same amino acid, glutamic acid. Name the property of the genetic code shown here. Property demonstrated is degeneracy or redundancy of the genetic code. Several codons can specify the same amino acid. State the advantage of this genetic code property. Advantage: it provides protection against mutations. It reduces the impact of point mutation, that is, silent mutations. Let us now look at the specificity of the code. We are exploring amino acid precision. Item 5. A student tries to argue that the codon AUG could code for different amino acids depending on the species. Task: state whether this is correct. Explain the property of the genetic code involved. Give an example showing the consistency of codon meaning. State whether this is correct. Correct or incorrect? It is incorrect. Explain the property of the genetic code involved. Property involved: specificity, an ambiguous nature of the genetic code. One codon codes for one and only one amino acid. Give an example showing the consistency of codon meaning. Example: AUG always codes for methionine, a start codon in nearly all organisms. Let's now look at the start and stop codons. We are going to explore translation, initiation, and termination. Item 6. A ribosome attaches to messenger RNA but ignores multiple codons until it reaches AUG. Later, it stops translation when it reaches UAA. Task. Explain why the ribosome starts only at AUG. Why does it stop at UAA? State the property of the genetic code illustrated here. Explain why the ribosome starts only at UAG. Example. AUG always codes for methionine, a start codon in nearly all organisms. Why does it stop at UAA? Why stop at UAA? UAA is a stop codon that instructs the ribosome to release the completed polypeptide. State the property of the genetic code illustrated here. Property illustrated is that the genetic code has start and stop signals. Let's now look at non-ambiguous and universal code. We are exploring, comparing the frog and the plant genes. Item 7. A frog gene and a plant gene both contain the codon UGG. Both organisms produce the amino acid tryptophan from this codon. Task. What does this imply about genetic code? Which two properties are demonstrated in this scenario? Why is this important for evolution? What does this imply about the genetic code? Implication. Codons have the same meaning across species. Which two properties are demonstrated in this scenario? Two properties demonstrated. 1. Universality. 2. Unambiguous nature. That is, each codon specifies one amino acid. Why is this important for evolution? Importance for evolution. 1. Allows comparison of genes across organisms. 2. Suggests common ancestry for all life forms. Thank you very much for participating in topic 7, inheritance, evolution, learning outcome A. We have been looking at the structure and function significance of nucleic acid in meiosis and mitosis, their role in cellular function, and how mutation in a nucleotide sequence can contribute to diseases like cancer. We have been looking at learning outcome, learning activity, where in group learners search for the properties of the genetic code, they make the write-up and present the finding to the class. If this has been very useful to you, please visit my YouTube channel at Mugabe Joshua Biology.